Today we're really excited to have an organization called U-TURN, an organization that we're very passionate about as a business, and today we're going to learn more about U-TURN. Welcome Leila and Stephen. Let's kick us off. What is U-TURN?
Sure, so U-TURN Homeless Ministries.
Oh, did I get the name? It's U-TURN Homeless Ministries.
No, we go by U-TURN.
Okay, is it okay? No, I just wanted to check if I had that.
The full name is U-TURN Homeless
Okay,
Ministries.
cool.
It's a bit of a mouthful,
Yeah.
We go with U-TURN.
Okay.
But when I introduce, I normally say the full name, so people grasp that it is about homelessness and it is a ministry as well. We were founded in 1997 by Colleen Lewis. She was just a compassionate resident who felt provoked by something she'd heard on the radio that said if the church were to stop existing today, who would actually notice? And she was really provoked by that. And when a lady by the name of Koliki came to her door asking for help, she felt this was God's call for her to respond to that. And pretty soon Koliki brought Johannes and more came, and soon Colleen had 20 people regularly coming to her home that she was meeting and ministering to. The neighbors weren't too keen on that, so they asked her to move, and she found a little office at St. Stephen's, the church that she was attending, and that's kind of where the ministry really formally took off.
27 years ago.
In 1997, 27 years ago. She was untrained, a sort of a lay counselor. She just had a heart for people, and the organization is built on that ethos of love, of care, of compassion, and kindness. And I think that, we believe that God made every person intrinsically valuable and no one should have to live on the street. And that sort of heart response of seeing the person first, affirming their dignity, and knowing that homelessness is not the destiny of a person. They're not fulfilling their full potential.
So the lady's name again?
Colleen Lewis.
Colleen Lewis. And you use that word provoked. You're driving, you come to the robot, and let's say you're going from Rondebosch to the CBD. How many stops do you have? And then you're giving out money. And one of the things that I struggled with, am I really impacting this person? And that's what I really like. But I think we'll get back to what you actually do. But that's a good start of the background of U-TURN. So what is it that you do at U-TURN, Stephen? And what's your function currently?
So I'm in the communications team. So that is, just raising awareness about U-TURN, raising friends, raising funds, partnerships, and just generally, spreading the word of what we're up to.
It's a good message to spread.
Thanks.
And Leila, your side?
I run the My Change voucher program at U-TURN. I've been with U-TURN for about 8 years now in different capacities, and currently my title would be the My Change voucher coordinator. And I do everything around the vouchers and and how to get it out to the public and just spread awareness of the difference that a voucher can make in someone's life as opposed to giving them cash on the street.
I think that really helps.
That ties into what you said.
Yeah. So just in terms of strategies and sort of what you do functionally on a daily basis, some of the programs, so you mentioned the My Change voucher. Could you maybe just give a bit more detail on that program you're running?
How the voucher works is a member of the public can buy a voucher at either one of our resellers, and we've got about 160 churches, St. James being one of them, and shops across the city of Cape Town that supports the My Change vouchers. So members of the public can go into the shops and purchase a voucher. They can also buy the vouchers online on the My Change website. And then also at any one of the U-TURN charity stores, they can buy a voucher. And what happens, for example, as you mentioned, you're driving along and you've got all these stops. Someone at the traffic lights, you can give them a voucher instead of giving cash. We know that cash it doesn't make a difference in someone's life. It can fuel the addiction. We know that quite a few people that are living on the street have an addiction, whether it's drugs or alcohol. So giving cash doesn't really change that person's situation. Giving a voucher, what they do with that voucher is they come to one of our service centres, and because U-TURN has partnered with an organisation called MESS, they're based in the northern suburbs, so the My Change voucher can be redeemed at any U-TURN centre or at a MESS centre. And what they get when they come to the centre, so there are 4 vouchers in a pack, and the vouchers cost 50 Rand to the public. And what they can get for a voucher is they can redeem for a meal, 1 voucher. They can get an item of clothing, they can have a shower, and they can also get a bed in a safe space. So U-TURN has a safe space at the Claremont Homeless Support Center. We currently have about 35 beds.
In Claremont, I visited the one in Claremont.
That's the one, yeah. So the voucher can be redeemed. It is a first come, first served basis. And you've got to register in the morning. When they do a roll call in the afternoon, if your name is not there, the next person on the waiting list goes up into that space. So I would say the voucher is a ticket to services. It's a tool for the public to be able to help people. And it's the first step towards someone getting not just basic needs, but also access to professional support and a rehab program at U-TURN.
I absolutely love that. I mean, Stephen and you and I were chatting. It's such a good tool, an access point to chat to somebody, get to know somebody, and then you take him to the next step. But I'll talk about the next step, but just a little bit about the voucher, practically speaking. So you can go to one of the outlets, you can then purchase the voucher. You then need to understand, so let's say it's in the Claremont vicinity, you need to know where that center is. Because you don't want to give somebody a voucher and the center is like 30, 40 kilometers. So so practically speaking, you buy the voucher and then identify which area you would hand it out. Would that be?
So on the actual pack of vouchers that you buy, there is an address, what we call a tab, and it lists all the service centers where the vouchers can be redeemed, and then also the address. So U-TURN centers would be, we have the center in Claremont, we have one in Muizenberg, we recently opened up one in Strand, we have one in Paddo, and then we have the Mess Bellville Center, and then Mess also has a Durbanville Center. So currently there are 6 homeless support centers where the vouchers can be redeemed. We've also opened up in Johannesburg, but we'll focus on Cape Town for now. So there are 6 centers where the vouchers can be redeemed, and it does make sense for someone to hand out within the vicinity. We say within maybe bearing in mind the person probably has to walk within a 5 to 10 kilometer radius of a homeless support center.
So I'm just thinking, like, as a family or a business, you identify an area as a strategy. You say, I'm going to buy X amount of vouchers and target that area. Okay. So that's practically speaking. I love that. I tried it once after speaking to Stephen. It's just such a good experience to hand it out in the Claremont area and then visit the center as well. And just to see the impact. Because like I said, it always bugged me, handing out, giving money. There's no impact. Okay, so that's probably going to lead me, Stephen, to the next point. So we're handing out the vouchers, we got somebody into the center, but then there's the next step. And we talk about transforming lives and the opportunity to then transform that person's life. What's the next step in that process?
So at U-TURN we say we equip individuals and communities with skills to overcome homelessness, and the voucher is the start of that. It's the start of equipping an individual on that journey, and it equips communities in terms of how to respond to homelessness. But in terms of overcoming homelessness, that is a much longer journey. So providing welfare like meals, clothing, showers, it alleviates the immediate suffering, but it doesn't actually take someone off the street. So that's our phase 1 response for people living on the street. But ideally, at phase 1, what we'll do is we'll start a relationship with someone. So we have a person-first approach. We see a person before we see a need. All of our services are done by and with our clients. We don't do services to and for people. So it's very much a partnership of buy-in, which is what we created at phase 1. Once we've created that partnership, that trust, that sense of buy-in, then we find it's a lot easier for those clients to go through the next phases, and I'll chat about those phases next. Our second phase is drug and alcohol rehab, and the reality is most people living on the streets, they do struggle with some form of substance abuse addiction. It can either be a contributing factor of why they became homeless in the first place, or it can just be a coping mechanism they picked up while living on the streets. But generally there is some kind of issue there. So we address that at phase 2. Our clients, they go to rehab support in the mornings, and in the afternoon they come back to those homeless support centers and they actually volunteer assisting the phase 1 clients. And what that does is it means that we always stay in close contact with our clients. So we believe the opposite of addiction is connection. Anytime someone is feeling lonely, they're feeling bored, they're feeling disoriented, disconnected, no meaning, no purpose in life, it's a temptation to go back to using. So our clients, we keep connected with them throughout the whole day. We refer them into a medium-term shelter so they have a place to stay at night. And we really start to pour heavy resources from phase 2 into our clients, which is why the work at phase 1 is so important, to make sure that they're ready for that scenario. That phase typically lasts 3 to 4 months. And once a client starts demonstrating sobriety and we see drug tests coming clean regularly, then we pull them out of that homeless support center environment and we put them on phase 3, which is our work readiness program. That's rolled out in, let's say, a business environment. So U-TURN runs social enterprises. It's mostly charity shops, but it's also a coding and web development business, as well as a garden center, a nursery where we propagate indigenous plants. So our clients there in phase 3, they've kind of started primary sobriety, but they're still kind of getting accustomed to things. They'll work for 4 days a week in those social enterprises, where they learn sort of hard work skills. They receive a stipend. They're still staying in accommodation that's sponsored by U-TURN. And then 1 day a week, they have what's called personal development and training, which is basically a full day of therapy to work on the traumas and issues that caused homelessness in the first place. So that work readiness journey, some clients move faster. If they've got quite a bit of skills when they arrive, they tend to go quicker. Others, they can't even read and write, and we have to start with remedial kind of lessons in their personal development day. Those clients typically take longer to come through, but it's anywhere from sort of 1 year to 3 years on that work readiness program. And as they reach the end of it, our clients themselves, they start to get that itch of wanting to actually move out of our program and into the open market. So at that point, the therapy switches from being sort of very inward focused to being outward focused. They move from a sort of counselor to a life coach. And it's more sort of goal-directed, career planning, time management, money management, that kind of, finding themselves a place to stay independently. It's setting those external goals. And then once a client has found a job in the open labor market, once they've found a place to stay, obviously using the salary from their employment, and remain sober, once those 3 outcomes are achieved, they'll graduate from the program. So it's a long journey, but it is very effective. And over 80% of our graduates maintain sobriety, housing, and employment long term.
That's so exciting.
So we have very low relapse rates because of that long journey that we walk with clients. This is not a quick fix 3-month program. It's a long, deep, life-changing work. And we currently have 150 places on that work readiness program. As clients graduate and move out into the open market, then they free up space for new clients coming from phase 2 through the pipeline. So
I love that. I mean, the different phases you go through, how you can witness the change, because that's transforming lives.
It's called change readiness. Our first phase is called change readiness, and then once they've completed the rehab, they go on to work readiness. So there's definitely
It's so exciting.
But it all starts with the voucher, which is why that voucher is so important.
When people, we need people to understand that phase 1, it's a starting point, and who knows what can become. I mean, your success rate, that's fascinating. On that point, success stories. Do you have any? I can't wait to hear about that.
At U-TURN, we have quite a few success stories. The few that stands out for me is we have Dimitri. Someone gave him a voucher, not just once, but 3 times on the streets in Muizenberg. And eventually, at rock bottom, he decided to use those vouchers and he went to our Muizenberg Service Center. He got help there, he joined our rehab program, he stayed to do the voucher earning activities, and once he completed the rehab, he came onto work readiness. And Dimitri is currently employed at U-TURN. He is a manager at our Living Roots plant nursery. And he's doing really well. He's reunited with his family. He's got his daughter back in his life. And it's really one of the most inspiring. It started with a voucher. We've also got a lady, Natasha. She's left our program now. She's working in the open labor market. A number of years ago, she was in our program, I think about 2 or 3 years ago. And she was living on the streets in Sea Point, Greenpoint. And she was outside the Radisson Hotel and asking for help, really, living on the streets, asking for help. And someone gave her food and a voucher. It took Natasha 6 months to make her way from Sea Point because the nearest service centre is Claremont. And it took her about 6 months. She made her way to the U-TURN Claremont Service Centre, came in our program and just absolutely took off. So really, giving a voucher to someone really makes a difference in their life, can turn their lives around completely.
I love what you said earlier. You see a person. And
For me, that's the beauty of the success story, is when we change a perception about someone, how someone perceives someone living on the street. What we see is, if you invest in someone living on the street, you'll be amazed at the result, because their God-given potential actually comes out. So I can think of someone like Malingole, who lived on the street for more than 8 years. He graduated from U-TURN program and he's currently working as an attorney for the Equal Education Law Centre. We have Bianca, who manages a chain of shops. We've got Ephraim, who's
used to push a trolley.
Changing perceptions.
Yeah,
he used to push a trolley in the street.
He literally said, I used to push a trolley and now I drive a car.
The only trolley he pushes now is in ShopRite Checkers to get his groceries. So it's changing those narratives and those perceptions, and we have so many stories like that, individual stories. I mean, definitely jump on our YouTube page and search U-TURN to learn more about those stories. Statistically, in terms of cohorts, there's also high success rates there. So I mentioned the 80% who remain sober, housed and employed. Last year we had 21 graduates all going into the open labour market. Already this year we have 20 and we're projecting 50 for the year. So it's a program that's really growing. The success rate is sort of ever increasing, and we're just grateful for support. We can't do this on our own. We have a wonderful model, but that means nothing without support from the community. So that's why using vouchers, we can get communities to support us, even through businesses, through funding, through raising awareness. All of that support actually helps us to achieve those goals and make more of these incredible stories come true. So yeah.
But listen, with stories require strategies, require resources. How do you do all of them? I mean, so you have a center, you need social workers, you need a whole team. It costs money to do all of these things.
It's not easy. They definitely
Steve's the money guy.
He's the money guy. Okay.
He's our fundraiser.
So maybe let's go into that. What are the challenges facing the organization?
So because of our model where we do businesses for phase 3, they generate income and they pretty much cover revenue. So half of our income is self-generated at U-TURN. So, but the challenge is funding phase 1 and 2. That's where we really struggle. We've worked on so many models. There's no way to monetize that, and we need support. So, funding homeless support centers, funding our rehab program, and just jumping on our website homeless.org.za and donating funds towards that efforts is really what we need help with.
Talk about that. So, practically speaking, family or business, we want to partner. What are the methods? How do you besides now buying the My Change voucher, we really want to partner with your organization? How do we do that?
So I would say one of the best ways is to sort of almost adopt a homeless support center that's in your area and then contribute funds towards that. One of the other ways is also by donating goods in kind. So as I said, we run businesses like charity shops, for example. We receive donations from the public that get sold in those shops. So businesses can even get a tax write-off if they donate goods that they surplus goods or they end of line, or so there's opportunities like that. If you're in the food services business, we provide a lot of meals. Hey? We really do. And meals cost money. So any food provisions, things like that from businesses is always very, very gratefully received. So there's just so many ways to get involved. But I'd say the best thing to do is to jump on our website, look at the various options. There's also volunteering as an option, and then find which one works for you, which one works for your business, which one works for your church, whichever kind of angle you're approaching it from, and just get involved there. And
I know we did a video once on legacy giving. How's that? I mean, how's that been going?
Yeah, so it's a long-term project, the legacy program.
Because now you're really thinking generationally now.
We are thinking generationally in terms of that. And the nice thing about legacy giving is often you don't have the cash flow to make a significant donation that you'd like to give. But when you've passed away, you have now an estate that can release funding that you wouldn't necessarily be able to release while you're alive. So it's an opportunity for you to make a really significant impact, and for you to consider the question of, how do I want to be remembered when I pass away? What is the long-term impact? What is the legacy that I want to leave? And so that's why we're
that's
quite
a focus
fond
for
of
the
legacy
organization
giving.
to think, listen, this is 3-4 generations down.
Everything we do is long term. Hey, we are not a short term approach organization at all. We actually have generational stories. When we had our 25th year celebrations 2 years ago, Colleen, our founder, she spoke and talked about some of the children she worked with, and she founded the organization. Those children then came up as adults to come and speak and share about how they're working in Spur head office and they have a family of their own. And these were children who put their school uniform in black plastic bags in the drain to keep them kind of dry and protecting from the weather before putting them on the next day and going to school. Literally living on the street. Now they are in families, they're in jobs, they are, have children of their own. So this is a very significant work. It has generational impact, and yeah.
We're doing a video actually also on the legacy giving, and one of the myths that we've encountered was legacy giving is only for the wealthy. And I mean, that's a separate video, but we encouraged people to sit down with a professional and think about strategies to do that. And everyone can leave something behind. Definitely. You absolutely can. But I think just the generational impact, that's very exciting. Okay, so some of the challenges, but now I'm going to ask for a call to action, and I think we're going to look at the camera there. I think just, call to action to society at large, whether it's families, businesses, organizations, how can they partner with U-TURN, and maybe just encourage us. It's been encouraging already, but maybe if you can just share any final words before we close.
I think we have call to actions around vouchers and around U-TURN. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I think the call to action around vouchers is just to get the word out there, and for members of the public and people living in house communities, just to support responsible giving. Buy a voucher, give it to someone on the street, and then also want to send out a call to action to businesses to partner with us, to come on board as a My Change voucher partner, and for members of the public to actually buy the vouchers at your business. So we have a My Change website, mychange.org. My details are all at the bottom, my email, my contact number, if you want to come on board as a partner. We also have an online subscription form where you can buy the vouchers. And then I'd like to just put out there to the public that donating vouchers back to us also does make, it's sort of a way of sponsoring the earned vouchers at our homeless support centres. As Steve says, we serve a lot of meals. And every time someone comes with a voucher and they ask for a meal, that ties into U-TURN providing that service. So if you want to buy a voucher and donate it back, you can do that online, and more businesses and even churches can partner with us and just support the voucher program.
I like what you said there now, responsible giving.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is a vehicle.
It is a very responsible way of giving.
Just from my experience, before I hand over to you, Stephen, it's really about also getting to understand what you do, and I think that's a good step. The education that's helped me to really get involved, to see, and it takes time as well. I think a relationship takes time. We started chatting last year, so the more I understand, the more I'll see opportunities to collaborate. So I think whoever's going to partner with you, just to get involved in really the understanding of what you guys do is so important, because I think that will help.
Yeah, from a U-TURN perspective, I would say certainly raising awareness is important, number one. So please share this video with your friends and family so they can also learn more about U-TURN. And then secondly, I would say jump on our website. It's homeless.org.za. And from our website, you'll find how you can support with funds, how you can support with goods in kind, how you can volunteer, you can subscribe to our newsletter, and just generally learn more about U-TURN and the organization. So yeah, please do share this video, and please jump on our website, homeless.org.za, to see how you can support.
Guys, thank you so much. And then just in closing, I've been fascinated just hearing the stories, but I think that call to action to everyone out there, businesses, families, organizations, sit down, consider who you're going to partner with to make a difference in society. I think generally we're often too inward focused. You know, we're so inward focused, not seeing the opportunities to do good out there with the opportunities that we have and to give back. So my encouragement to all of you today, let's all partner, let's all take responsibility. All of us have a role to play in society to transform lives. So on that note, thanks again for joining. And remember, we are relational, not transactional.